The ASDF movies have been a staple of internet culture for a very long time. The first episode coming out all the way back in 2008, it has been a source of memes for well over a decade. Of course, given the nature of the series, there are several different feats and abilities shown. If you were to put a certain character from this series up against your favourite character, how would the fight go down? That's essentially what I intend to answer today. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like, subscribe. Massive shout out to Pix who is editing this video. Make sure to go to subscribe to his channel, get him to 750 subscribers. The link is in the description. The only issue I could probably mention for this video in particular is that there are several characters who don't have names and only show up once to provide things. So if I just call them man or person or whatever, just know it's someone random, right? And without further ado, let's get into it. A staple of the series is that inanimate objects and regular animals seem to have higher levels of intellect than ones in our own world do, as they can speak English for one. This ranges from ties to parking meters to a muffin to a cow, etc, etc. One of these examples being Desmond the Moon Bear is able to live on the moon and speak. Granted, in a later episode, Desmond is shown to be dead, but that's likely through lack of food rather than oxygen, which is why Desmond is able to talk while on the moon and not act like he was able to breathe. This would give Desmond self-sustenance, which would also apply to a random man in episode 6 who just doesn't know how to breathe. But we are far from done. Another staple of the series are the insane levels of pain tolerance and body control. The first instance of this is all the way back in episode 1, where a creature busts out of someone's chest and they act like it's completely normal. The gay man also stabs someone before they could react, acting like it's nothing but an annoyance. Side note, this would mean that the gay man would have to have moved at almost 500 miles per hour, or approximately 0.6 times the speed of sound, in order to move faster than the eye could see. In the very next episode, a man gets his lungs stolen before he could react as well, and treats it like a minor inconvenience. In episode 12, this random dude just loves getting stabbed and treats it like a good thing, and in episode 5, a man gets stabbed and doesn't even react, and in episode 10, a guy gets a piece of his body taken off and just gives it to someone. This would mean that if you were to cut up these characters, then they wouldn't even react, which is pretty metal for a gag series. There is then also the I like trains kid. Whenever this kid says the phrase I like trains, a train is summoned onto him, which hits him and all the people around him dead on. Either this kid is durable enough to outright tank the impact of getting hit, or this kid is able to come back from the dead. If you believe that this kid is surviving by sheer durability, then every single time he is getting hit by a train, he is getting hit with the equivalent of 0.026 tons of TNT. That might not sound like a lot, I mean it's not even a single ton of TNT, but it is still enough to completely wipe out a small building, and considering the fact that the kid hasn't got any noticeable lasting damage, then the kid might be durable enough to survive larger buildings collapsing on him like it's nothing. Of course, if you think he's coming back from the dead, then that isn't the case, but either way it's pretty impressive for a set of feats. A man who might still be the same train kid is capable of summoning a train from his mouth, which completely crushes a dragon. Considering we don't really know how strong this dragon is, we can't really quantify the feat, but it's still pretty insane considering how this kid is still able to survive these train hits while a dragon can't. Some of the feats involve, random feats involve Cake surviving a stab wound in episode 1, Captain Tree can transform himself into a tree, someone can get stronger just by punching people, and some dude is able to puke rainbows. As you do. In the deleted scenes of episode 2, a man self-destructs and destroys himself along with someone else and an entire car. The power needed to completely destroy a car would be equal to 0.012 tons of TNT, which is yet another small building level feat. Marmite's also introduced, which can eat ponies and set things on fire. This inhuman digestion is continued into episode 3 when a guy just straight up eats another man in one gulp. Pause. A guy's even able to defy gravity at will, which means that again, later on in episode 5 it happens again, and then later on in episode 12, someone's gravity gets increased and he gets crushed. This gives these characters some level of gravity manipulation or resistance to it. So, here's Nuzlite from several days in the future. I'm also talking quite quietly because I do not wish to wake up everyone else around me. But I've just realised, or rather, The person editing this video has brought to my attention that I've made a mistake here, that it's not really inverse gravity that, you know, killed this man. He was just flying through the air. For some reason, my brain just didn't pick that up. I am very slow. Feel free to make fun of me in the comments. Celestial bodies are also shown able to talk, from the Earth, Sun, Moon, and Saturn, being able to just interact with people and people on the planet. Off topic, but this random cactus can attract people to them almost magnetically, and this wife can set their baby on fire. So there's that. Transmutation is a large and reoccurring feat in the series, with a man being able to turn into a pie, as someone else being able to turn someone else into a frog, along with a woman. They're also able to turn people into eggs. They're also able to turn people into drinking glasses, and able to turn people into ice cream via magic. A man also straight up steals all of a man's facial features, just eyes, nose, mouth, and all. This not only gives them some level of perception manipulation, but also some minor reality warping. Imagine you're scrapping with someone, and they just remove your ability to see, smell, and taste in the blink of an eye. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Time travel is also shown possible via a time machine, and aliens are confirmed real. If you imply that aliens are a threat to humanity and humanity lack the ability to kill them, this would be pretty insane, as the world's most powerful nuke ever made could output the equivalent of 58 megatons of TNT, or enough power to level cities, and the prototype of the Tsar Bomba could output 101 megatons of TNT, or enough to destroy entire mountains. This is headcanon, of course, due to lack of context, but it would be pretty insane for aliens. This might actually be consistent if we look at another feat within the same episode, where a man kicks a child to the moon. Now, it's impossible to calculate this, as we never see the kid hit the moon, and we don't know how fast she was moving, but if we take this kick and make it the same as another iconic kick to the moon in fiction, that being Saitama and the Boros fight, this means that this guy would be able to kick with the power of 1.9 gigatons of TNT. This guy would be able to one-shot entire islands just by kicking them. Again, this is headcanon, and there's close to no evidence for him actually being that strong, but it is still an impressive feat of power. Some other random abilities and feats are, you know, a mine turtle existing. You know, that's cool. Ponies can fly, a man can give himself a duck face, puppies can wield knives, a man can move while dead, which... don't ask me how that happens, and someone has access to a rocket launcher which is powerful enough to completely destroy concrete walls. A prevalent character that shows up is the Flop Guy. This guy has the ability to make everybody fall over and onto their face whenever he says, "Everybody do the flop." While it is unknown if this kills his enemies, it can kill people in certain scenarios, as shown when someone from a great height does it and they die. I'm not sure what ability or manipulation you would call this, but it is pretty wild nonetheless. A man also rapidly ages when his birthday comes around, meaning that if he fought someone who has the power to age someone down, it wouldn't affect him. Ghosts are also shown being able to interact with people in episodes 7 and 14. We don't know if people could physically harm them, but it's at least like something that they could talk to them. But undoubtedly, one of the strangest abilities is when someone pulls down a piece of string like a light, and colour is given to the entire world, and everybody reacts to this. This likely gives the cast fourth wall manipulation or fourth wall awareness, and can also tell artistic changes to the world happening around them. Compare this to long-running cartoons and anime where nothing is treated differently within the story itself when the art style changes, and it's pretty funny. Ironically, the deleted scenes of episode 7 also show a ton of stuff. A hat is able to swallow an entire person, Billy is invisible, pineapples can appear instantaneously and kill people, and a stegosaurus can exist. Stegosauruses are estimated to generate up to over 1 or 13,000 joules while running. This means that the sheer power of them running alone can generate enough power to bust through walls, and the spikes on its tail can amplify its level of destruction even more by piercing damage.
Okay, hello, Pix here. I'm the guy editing the video. If I sound weird, I'm sorry. I woke up half an hour ago. So the dinosaur, he's not a Stegosaurus. He's a Brontosaurus, and his powers and abilities consist of stepping on people and I guess somehow figuring out how to use a time machine, because he did crush that little girl after she crossed the street. What the fuck is wrong with the series?
A man displays the ability to disappear on command, on some dad going onto the shops for milk energy. Butterflies also show being able to lift a person off the ground and take them away, and this woman has snakes for arms. To further add to unnamed characters having abilities, a kid can fly, a genie exists, a man becomes a cannonball, and a man straight up eats an entire gun. Another man is also able to straight up puke up an entire car. How that works, I've got no idea, but to be honest, are we even questioning anything at this point? A giant bee eats someone and a guy farts so loud that their body is reduced to skeletons. A more quantifiable ability from a nameless character comes from a random dude who can stretch his finger like Mr. Tickle or something, like, a guy from the Mr. Men. Yeah, that, but with a finger. A baby gun also exists, which is a weapon which can outright create life, and this bloke eats bullets like it's nothing. Keeping in mind that bullets travel on average at 1,800 miles per hour and can easily pierce through walls, is quite an impressive feat. Someone in episode 12 was even showing being able to dive past a bullet as well. Finally, a named character shows up called Johnny Big Feet, who is so large he effortlessly crushes a dude just by standing on him. Assuming that these people are the height of, or the average height of a male in the USA, then Johnny would be over 85 times larger than the average person in the USA. This means that if you imply that Johnny is 85 times more powerful than a person, then his max output would range between 8,500 joules and 25,500 joules, depending on if you use the average everyday person or a peak athlete. Of course, by his sheer size, you could argue that he'd be able to collapse small buildings just by falling on them, but that is a bit vague if he could do that, especially given the vagueness of just Johnny Big Feet in general. Regardless, back to, nameless characters performing feats, a guy is able to survive a long fall by landing on someone. The durability needed to survive a fall from terminal velocity would require a durability upwards of 98,000 joules, which is enough to destroy walls. In the final episode, a large tackle was able to bust through walls, and instant death manipulation is shown to be quite a commonplace one, with a judge being able to instantly kill someone, this random dude instantly killing two people, and this guy being able to turn an entire group to die instantly. Pretty wild, to be fair. So what have we learned? Well, objectively, most of the characters are able to survive the output required to destroy walls and small buildings, and if you insert your own headcanon, then the top tier characters would be able to destroy cities, mountains, and even islands. Speed feats are consistently around the 500 miles per hour to 1,800 miles per hour, and there are tons and tons of abilities. With the higher end feats, the top tier characters will be able to defeat characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, Killua, basically any character or is below being able to destroy islands. Pretty wild, to be fair. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, make sure to check out pics with a link in the description, and I'll see you next time.